Welcome to another episode of the Loadout Music Podcast, featuring in-depth interviews with a wide range of music personalities, from rock and roll Hall of Famers to Grammy winners and today's rising stars. Recorded in St. Louis, Missouri, now here's your host, Aaron Perlitz of Atomic Junction.
Welcome back to the Loadout Music Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Aaron Perlitz, and today we welcome back friend of the show, the great Jon Foreman of Switchfoot, which has a smokin' new single out with the legendary Buddy Guy. Jon, welcome back, man. It's great to see you again.
You too. Yeah. Buddy Guy. Even hearing you say that is like, is that true? Did that happen?
Well, I remember when you and I talked back in 21, which I think was like season 2 for the show. I remember I was doing research for you and I was looking at your influences, and they were kind of all over the place, from like The Police to James Taylor to Johnny Cash to U2 and Elliott Smith. And so it didn't surprise me in any way that you would want to play music with Buddy Guy, because who wouldn't want to play music with Buddy Guy? But still, it was pretty, well, kind of cool. I mean, this must have been, how did this happen?
Well, so to rewind, my affection for Buddy Guy began in high school. I had just gotten my driver's license, and my soccer coach said, "Hey, there's a show coming through town. I know you play guitar. You should go check this out." And so I took a date. I took my 68 VW Bug down and saw BB King and Buddy Guy, and it felt like it opened up a whole new world to me, in that everyone around me, and myself included, we were all just playing punk rock. It was like, all the epitaph bands, Pennywise and Bad Religion and No Use for a Name and No Effects and all these bands. And you played fast and you played hard. And that evening, I felt like I heard the space between the notes expressed in a way I'd never heard before. And it set me off on a whole new trajectory after that night. I feel like BB King and Buddy Guy were the gentlemen in my life that taught me how to play guitar. They didn't know it, but that was my high school, guitar buddies. Those were what I was playing along with.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, because I can see that, because when you take punk or surf rock, even the BPMs are just like dun 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 dun. But when you get into blues, it dun 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 dun. It's the whole pacing of it, and you're right, it gives that space in between the notes.
Yeah, there's a weight to it, and there's a weight to the lyrical content. Everything about it feels like it has the time to develop and unfold, rather than just a proliferation of notes, And nothing against punk rock. I still love fast songs too.
Yeah. What's great about the blues is that the blues could be almost like, it's like this spoken word conversation you could have over almost any blues riff. In a really cool way. And I love the way you're that space in between. So how did this come about? I know that Tom Hambridge, who is Buddy's collaborator a long time, has been involved. But how did this thing happen that it was just like, oh, Jon, you want to play with Buddy?
Yeah. So Tom and I have been friends for a little while, and he was playing a show at a club down the street from me. Rode my bike down and watched the show, one of many Buddy Guy shows I've seen. And afterwards, me and Tom are hanging out, and he's like, we should write a song for Buddy. And I, obviously jumped at the opportunity that night. Pretty much the song just felt like it was there. It was already there. 4 minutes later, the song was written, kind of thing. And we tracked it the next day, me and Tom and the fellas. And because Buddy had already moved on to another city, and it felt like it was my response to what I had seen the night before. You know, like here's the song. It was already there. I just kind of wrote down what it was. And my thought was, even if Buddy hears this song as an homage to the last man standing, this blues legend who truly is the last man standing of. So even if he hears it and thinks, "Wow, this is an honor that they wrote the song for me about me," that would be enough. But then to hear him a couple months later singing and playing on the track, it felt like it completed the circle. You know, like that the song was born as a gift to Buddy, and Buddy to give his voice and his guitar playing onto the track felt like, okay, the conduit is complete. The circuit is complete. We have electricity now.
And what I really like about it, and you can find it on any streaming services, the song is called Last Man Standing. It's like you took a blues riff and put it on steroids. I mean, it's a real banger. But not so much where you're like getting into, let's say, Metallica territory. I mean, it still sounds like a real just ass-kicking blues song, but it's just got weight. It's got weight to it. I mean, it's when I first played it, I was like, wow, this is a badass tune. This is a really good song.
The thing that I love about the blues, I feel like the blues, you know, that's the building blocks for, you know, every kind of rock and roll, hip hop, all of it. And the thing that I think sometimes gets lost from the older recording is that the toughness. You know, the blues are tough, man. These are like, I feel like I wanted to capture that element. You know, knuckles out, let's go.
I mean, look, you're a guy who's sold 10 million albums. You've won a Grammy Award. Is it nice to, I don't know, surprise and delight yourself to be able to have an experience that you've accomplished so much? I mean, you're still a relatively young guy, but you've accomplished a lot in your career. Is it nice to still be able to have a moment like this where you're like, this is really cool?
Oh yeah, like I said, I kind of didn't believe it until it finally came out.
Yeah.
You know, like it's kind of a pinch me moment where you're like, okay, sure, I'll believe it when it happens. Almost, I mean, the similar experience to having our friends kind of record our songs for the homage to the Beautiful Letdown, whether it was the Jonas Brothers or you know, John Bellion or Tyler from 21 Pilots, to hear their take on the song. It was a very similar experience where you're thinking, I mean, yeah, we're friends, but I'll believe it when it happens, you know?
Yeah.
So and it is that thing where I think at this stage in life, I'm looking for those things that maybe step outside of what we've done in the past. You know, how do we push the limits and figure that out?
Yeah, well, and I know you're a big fan of Dylan, and I mean, if you look across Dylan's career, or even someone like Rod Stewart, it's this continuum of evolution of styles and exploration and doing things that are different and new to stretch themselves. So to a degree, it kind of reminds me a little bit of that, of going from more of that kind of California rock to this heavy blues. I mean, just gives you a chance to kind of spread out a little bit and find find that space in between, as you were saying before.
And what a cool thing. I mean, I think music's at a place now where you can actually do that with the way playlists are, and every kid has access to every song, almost every song, of the last 50 years. It's right there at their fingertips. And the concept is, I think, genres and boxes are really good for selling things. I understand the reason to label things, but music, there is, to some end, no genre really. There's a guy with a guitar, and it's us saying, here's what we're going to call it. So I love the idea that you can kind of blend some lines and blur some lines and color outside of it, the frame, maybe, just find your own space.
Yeah. So, look, I know you're involved with a lot of other things. We were talking a little bit earlier about your kids. But I also know, like on a personal level, I know you've got the Bro-Am Foundation. You've raised millions. Talk a little bit. I don't think we actually talked about that last time. Talk a little bit about that and what you do through that foundation and what it accomplishes.
Yes. So, more than anything we've done as a band, Grammys or whatever, the the Bro-Am is the thing that we're the most proud of. We were flying home from our first world tour, um, and we were thinking, man, what a gift to be alive. We love our hometown. I can't believe we get to live here. What can we do to give back? And so we basically, the Bro-Am is surfing and rock and roll right on the beach in our hometown, raising money for homeless and at-risk youth in our hometown. So we get to be Santa Claus and raise a bunch of money and give it to our favorite organizations in our own backyard. And yeah, it's the best day of the year. You should come and surf. It's good.
No one wants to see. One, they don't want to see me in a bathing suit, and two, they don't want to see that my lack of balance. So,
We've got surfboards for you right here. We've got
yeah,
the ones you want.
you have one specific for fat guys, you know.
I could get you surfing. I bet you. I love teaching people because I think yeah, surfing. That's one of the things we do for the Brom is we teach kids how to surf. And I do. I mean, like learning how to play the guitar or learn how to throw or whatever it is. It's an empowering moment when you stand up on a wave for the first time and you see these kids feeling like, oh man, I just conquered the ocean right there, or this one little corner of it at least.
Has your community been impacted by the fires of the past year?
My musical community certainly has. I've got a ton of friends up in LA.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a beautiful moment that happened because of the fires. All of my friends came down to San Diego, and we had a big get together at my house. And we were just kind of trying to make something beautiful out of something terrible. But yeah, so a ton of musical collaborators up in LA have been affected, but fortunately, yeah, San Diego's been for this fire season pretty unscathed.
Yeah, it's been pretty remarkable what's happened up there. I've got a good buddy, Mike Semple, who's a musician. He does a lot of mixing and mastering for bands, and he does that out of his house. He lost everything. I mean, his house was burned down, and nothing was in a cloud. Everything was on drives, and his house was burned down to the fireplace. That's it. That's all that was standing. And 6, 8 months later, he's still going from. He and his family are still, couch surfing, and it's so devastatingly unfortunate what has happened to those communities in and around Los Angeles. It's heartbreaking. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah,
Um, that's amazing though what you're doing with Bro-Am Foundation. I know you've raised millions through that. Your brother Tim, who's also a member of the band, I know he's also got, or he recently launched a solo project, Bongo Chico, and he's got a full album out.
yes,
Talk a little bit about that, will you?
yeah. It's beautiful. Bongo Chico is Tim, my brother's solo project that I have been kind of peer pressuring him to do for years. He is such an incredible, prolific songwriter, and sometimes being my younger brother, like some of his songs don't make the cut on our records. We end up having 70 songs for each project, and so a lot of songs don't make the cut. But I was talking to him, just saying, you got to put out a solo record. These songs are so good, and so I feel like his project is proof that peer pressure can be a good
A
thing.
good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, is he going to tour behind that? How is he going to support that record?
Well, he said he never want to do a record, and now here's the record. And now he's saying he doesn't want to tour it, but who knows? I mean, enough peer pressure. Maybe he'll
Yeah.
go out and play a couple shows.
Okay. And so what about Switchfoot? Do you guys have are you working on new material? Are you in the studio? What's up with you guys beyond the single with Buddy?
Yeah, so I just finished up a solo tour, or I've got 3 more shows on the West Coast to finish it up. Um, and then after that, we're gonna dive full on into the next Switchfoot project. And part of it is inspired by what we were able to do with Buddy Guy. I feel like that, I kind of, you go through phases, and
Sure.
I was kind of bored with the guitar for a while until that track with Buddy. And so I feel like that experience reinvigorated my love for my first instrument, and I'm excited to make a rock record.
Do you think do you think a lot of the keys of the songs you'll be writing will, as you noted, kind of, you get inspired by certain experiences, obviously blues has got kind of a family of keys you tend to stick with, chords you tend to stick with. Do you think that will you find yourself kind of maybe shifting a little bit in your songwriting because of this experience, and this will be the next project might be a completely different type of Switchfoot album?
Yeah. It's interesting because the electric guitar is one of the truly American instruments. You could say that about maybe the sousaphone, but the electric guitar was born in Southern California garages. Leo Fender, you got Bigsby, you got Les Paul. They're all there, and I feel like so that was kind of our inspiration for this album. Was like, well, what does a California garage sound like in 2025? And so that's where our band was born. We've enlisted a producer named Mike Elizondo, who's another Southern California kid, who's incredible. Came up with, uh, Dr. Dre and also Abe Laboriel Jr. He's just an incredible guy. And so that's our goal, is to make the next California garage rock album.
Well, and that fascinates me because that could have so many different influences. I mean, everything from kind of the Latin influenced rock of the 90s that really came out of SoCal to the Bakersfield sound to
Yep.
surf rock and punk rock. I mean, bands like the Eagles and the Byrds,
Yes.
historic bands.
The
Uh,
Beach Boys, let's go.
yeah, I mean, and as you noted, rap. I mean, West Coast rap. So, I
Yeah.
mean, the hip hop, there could be so much in that. Will you think about, you know, adding in a bridge where you've got maybe like a Latino speaker or a singer who adds like, something purely in Spanish? I mean, are you going to think along those lines of really differentiate, or are you thinking about more like California surf rock, like garage rock?
Well, I mean, I wasn't thinking about the Latino, like get get a friend of mine to sing on it until you said that. And now I'm thinking of it. But yeah, so I think, it's one of those things where whatever, it's almost like you try on a leather jacket and you wear it for a second and see if it feels like you or not, because at the end of it, you've got to play it around the world. So that's always the fun about a record is to push yourself. But you always want to be authentic, I think
Yeah.
that's the balance for this kind of an album.
Yeah. Well, that sounds fun, man. Uh, Anything else, John? What else we missing, man? It's been 4 years since we caught up. I want to make sure
Yeah,
no
man.
stone is unturned.
4 years, dude. That's crazy. Yeah. So, well, I guess I put out a couple solo albums. In the meantime, we did a record with Tony Berg up at Sound City called Interrobang, and that was like this crazy season of, it's an election year and everyone's wearing a mask, and I think for me, I look back on the last 4 years and I'm really I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful that I get to play live music with people. And yeah, that's what I'm hoping that this track with Buddy Guy and whatever we do on the next Switchfoot record is something that feels live, feels human, feels like we're in the room together celebrating life.
Awesome, man. Jon Foreman, Switchfoot. The song is Last Man Standing with Buddy Guy. It's out on all the streaming platforms right now. Thank you so much, man. It's been great catching up once again, as always.
Good to see you. I had to show you my my wooden wall back here.
Please do. So it's our bond, our wooden wall.
Right. I got to get the beard going, though.
Yeah. You got to look as old as I do, man.
Come on. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Loadout Music Podcast, hosted by Atomic Junction frontman Aaron Perlett. Find all of our episodes and more at loadoutmusic.com.